In the morning session, we discussed about various aspects related with freedom and liberalism. So we read a number of things directly from the textbook and we discussed that. Okay, can you see the screen now? Okay, so we know that liberty is necessary to lead a good life or dignified life in the society. The same time, some restrictions also required. Okay, constraints also required. Otherwise, what will happen? The people, the privileged class or the rich class, they will always try to dominate over the minority. So here we are going to discuss about a particular person. His name is John Stuart Mill, a famous political philosopher he is. Okay, John Stuart Mill, famously known as J.S. Mill. J.S. Mill. So, in his essay, he wrote one essay related with this idea of liberty. So, the name of that essay, that collection is called to be On Liberty. On Liberty. On Liberty. So, in that book or in that essay, he mentioned the need of constraints or need of restrictions. Why the restrictions are required? Okay, so if one person is going to harm others, or one person's activity is harming other persons, then only restrictions needed. That is what the ideology of J.S. Mill. J.S. Mill. Okay, just write down. Yesterday, Ashwari asked that a simple description for the harm principle. The harm principle. Write down. The harm principle. The harm principle. The harm principle holds that the actions of individuals should only be limited to prevent. So, repeating one more time, the harm principle holds that the actions of individuals should only be limited to prevent harm to other individuals. Okay, we know that is almost applicable in almost all the rules and regulations that what we are accepting today. Okay, so a person doing some errors or some mistakes that is making trouble for himself, no one is bothered about that. Clear or not? But when the restrictions is imposed, that's where the government is finding or the society is finding there's a chance of harm to others. Okay, one person's activity, if it is going to make or create problem for others, we want the restrictions there. Is that clear? Is that idea clear? So that is called to be harm principle by J.S. Mill. So we already discussed about the minor harms and major harms. So if we are tolerant towards that or we are liberal, we will adjust with the minor harms. Okay, but major harms are there. It will create serious problems in the society. So here we require rules and regulations. Okay, we require constraints here. Okay, so this is the principle related with the harm principle, or this idea being the harm principle by J.S. Mill. Okay, is that clear? Is that idea clear or not? So when we want restrictions, if one person's or one individual's activity is going to create problem for others, that time only we want restrictions. That was the idea of J.S. Mill. That was the idea of J.S. Mill. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we discussed about the harm principle now, discussed about the minor harms and major harms. Okay, so moving toward the next topic, next page. Okay, so we know that we are able to find numerous restrictions all around. Directly from your textbook only, we discussed all these things already. Okay, but just observe here. So here we can see that for minor harms, there is no legal punishment basically, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? No legal punishments are there. But the harm that creating serious problem in the society, definitely punishments are there in the constitution. As per the IPC, Indian Penal Code, number of such kind of rules and regulations are existing related with the harm towards the other individual, those living in the same society. Clear or not? So they're considering as the major harm. So as per J's Mill, when we require these constraints, when we require these rules and regulation, if one individual activity is going to make trouble for the other individual. Okay. Up to that, we don't want any restrictions. So all are living freely in the society. They are not making, or the individuals are not creating any problem for others. We don't want restrictions. We are able to lead a good life in a free society. But it is not possible actually. Okay. So we know that human mind is unpredictable. Anytime anything might happen. So this is compulsory. Restrictions are compulsory. So we are able to enjoy our freedom related with restrictions or constraints. Is that clear? Okay, so in your textbook you can see here freedom, the page number 25, the issue of dress code. Here we are discussing about the social constraints or social restrictions. Okay, there is no written rules and regulations in the constitution related with the dress code or something like that, right? Okay, but in some countries such kind of rules and regulations are existing too. Clear? So we are discussing in China during Mao's reign. Okay, Mao Zedong, he was one of the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, and he ruled China for many years. Okay, so here you can see here, Mao's time, all the people had to wear Mao suits, based on the argument that it was an expression of equality. So related with Mao's reign in China, he ordered, or the Chinese Communist government ordered to the people that all the people should wear a same dress called the Mao suit. Clear? Okay, so if such kind of rules is existing in India or implemented by the government, will you support that or will you agree that? Can anyone agree that? Will you agree that? How many of you will agree that? Huh? The government says that tomorrow onwards you want to wear a particular dress, how Narendra Modi wearing his dress, right? You know that he's always wearing a jacket, right or not? So every individual want to wear a jacket along with your normal dress. Will you accept that or not? My question is to no. I should have told no. What about Grishma?
No.
What about Elvina? So blindly you people say no. Okay, blindly we are able to say no. We are unable to do that. We are not going to cooperate with that. But if that coming as the form of a law, what will happen? Definitely we won't accept it. Right or not? Yes or no? Yes. So before that, one question is there. In democracy, we can oppose the rules and regulations that can be made by the government, right? Yes or no? We can oppose, right? We have that right with us. Okay, so keep that in your mind. So all these things are basically considering as a contradictory to another. So in China, the ruler Mao Zedong, he demanded the people to wear the Mao suits. And a fatwa was issued, a religious order. Okay, so related with the Islamism, a religious order that is termed as fatwa. Okay, fatwa was issued against Zania Mirza. You know her, right? Who is she? Zania Mirza?
Badminton player.
Badminton? Think one more time.
Tennis.
Okay, she's tennis player, right? And she's the real Indian, right or not? Right? So always, every morning we will say the pledge. What is that? All Indians are my brothers and sisters, right? Of course, and she married from Pakistan. Is that correct? Zania Mirza married from? You don't know, right? Okay, you're not that much interested in sports. Let it, whatever it is. Fine. Okay, come back. So a fatwa was issued against Zania Mirza for her style of dress that was considered by one cleric to be against the dress code prescribed for women. Clear or not? So Islamic rules are there, basically considering the Shariat rules. Okay, so a code of conduct. As per that only the Islamic women or Islamic men, they want to lead their life. So a fatwa is issued against Zania Mirza related with her dress code. Okay, she's Muslim. Okay, the same time, there is religious rules are existing related with the dress code. So the religious community, that cleric, they issued a fatwa against Sani Mirza. Are you agreeing with that or not? The second question. Are you agreeing that with that or not?
No.
Okay, so blindly people can say no, because personal right is there. Personal right is there. But you understand that each and every religion have their own religious rules and regulations, right? Okay, that also want to take into consideration. So keep that in your mind. Okay, so almost all these things what we are discussing here, it is contradictory. Clear or not? So we want to think about that. We are unable to give a clear-cut answer related with any of these particular things what we are learning here. Okay, number of sides are there, number of things we want to discuss. Okay, so next one, the rules of a test match in cricket require every cricketer to wear white dress. Boys know that, right? So test cricket, almost the players will wear white dress only. That's a rule that in test cricket. No cricketer can breach that rule. Rule there. Okay. Next one, students are required to wear school uniform. So if you are discussing all these things, we come to know that it is all against our personal liberty. But these are constraints by law and the society. Is that clear? Is that clear or not? It is against personal liberty. There is no doubt in that. Most of these things are against personal liberty. But if you are learning in a school, we want to accept the bylaw or code of conduct and the particular school. First of all, we want to wear the uniform, right? Okay, so restrictions are required. In some sort of restrictions are necessary. But in the case we are able to find here, some are against the personal liberty too. Clear. So now we are going to some debate. Next point here it is the restrictions on what to wear justified in all cases or only in some? When does it constitute a constraint on freedom? Okay, so the question is, all these points we are unable to say that it's actually necessary to lead a good life with the liberty in the society. Okay, some constraints or some restrictions are purely or strictly against the personal rights of any individual. Is that clear or not? Okay, yes or no? Yes.
Yes, sir.
There is no formula for us. Okay, you want to understand the things. Clear? So I already told you that what sense we require here actually. What sense?
Common sense.
Common. Okay, not a common there. You don't want to think or don't want to use your brain, don't want to, what we can say, fire your brain or something like that. Okay, no sixth sense or no seventh sense is required here. Simple common sense, apply simple common sense, but basically we know that it is not common, right? So just try to apply that. Okay, Grishma Joshi, what happened? The idea?
Yes.
Yes, fine. Okay, so next one, who has the authority to impose this constraint? Next question, who has the authority to issue this constraint or impose this constraints? In the case of Mao suits, what is that? The government, right or not? So the restrictions by law only. Nobody is able to question that. Impossible, because that the restriction or that constraint is made by the government by law. Nothing will happen there. Okay, we want to accept it anyway. Next one, it's going to be a fatwa, a religious imposition basically, right or not? So Sania Mirza is reacted against that or not? That's the question. So we want to know the news related with that fatwa and the decision that taken by Sania Mirza. Okay, after the fatwa also, Mirza or Sania Mirza, she played many matches, right? So she gave more value for her personal freedom than the religious fatwa, right or not? Okay, and she proved that it is not that much compulsory to blindly believe in the religious orders, it seems. Clear or not? So first of all, we want to remember one thing. What is that? We are not going to criticize, or we are not going to, accept the rules and regulations that existing in each and every religion. Clear or not? So don't think that that religion is bad, this religion is bad, or something like that. Okay, we are the students of political science. We are just operating the systems there. Okay, we are trying to understand what is going on. We are not against any religious activity or faith or belief, and we are not going to support too. Clear or not? We are trying to analyze the situations. Clear? Understand? So different people, they are coming from different religious background, so don't think anything bad. That's what I'm telling. So most, if you're political sense, if you're discussing political sense, sometimes if we wanted to criticize things, maybe you want to criticize the political parties, sometimes we will criticize the societies, sometimes we'll criticize the countries, sometimes we will criticize the religions. Clear or not? But purely it is not individual one. Okay, purely not me or not you criticizing, we are analyzing the situations. Clear? Okay, that sense always should keep it with you, right? Or else it will lead to some other problems there. If you are biased or prejudiced by listening or learning political sense, no one is able to help we people or you people, right? No bias mentality or no prejudice mentality. Okay, we are trying to analyze the things. That's it. Clear? Is that clear? Okay, fine. So that's what a fatwa. So she acted or reacted against that, and she gave more value for her personal freedom than the fatwa that made by the cleric. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, so next one. It is imposition excessive. Does it diminish the many ways people have expressing themselves? Okay, so this kind of constraints by the government or by the society or foreign aggression or domination, the capacity of expression of people might reduce, right or not? Clear or not? So a domination is existing in the society. The majority is always trying to dominate over the minority. So where is the voice of the minority? Okay, they want to solo everything, right or not? There is no right for them. There is no freedom for them. We want to understand that. Why we are learning all these things? Okay, if we are the part of the majority, we want to think that each and every individual those living in the society have the same rights. We are the people who want to show the way, show the path towards them to enjoy the real freedom and liberty. Freedom and liberty. Is that clear? Is that clear? So only I am giving this speech. Okay, narration. You're simply listening that. Okay, just I'm giving a chance to you people to participate here. Okay, now 2 days before I told you that it is whose turn today actually? It's Grishma Joshi, right? Grishma or Elvina? Elvina complete. Okay, Grishma, start.
This from outside the textbook also.
You can, no problem. No worries. So more the knowledge. That's a good one, right? Okay, come on, start.
Good morning to all. Today I'll be taking a seminar on the topic freedom. Freedom is generally the ability to act and express without constraints or restrictions. A free person will be able to make their own independent decisions without any external influence or control. Freedom is a very powerful word. It can mean different things for different people. For some people, it can mean independence. For other people, it can mean being able to speak and act freely or to go wherever they want. For example, for a person who's been in jail for a long time, freedom for that person will be to finally get out of jail. Another example is if a person's parents decides everything for them and forces their child to follow their decisions, then freedom for that child will be to be able to take his own decisions without depending on anyone. So that is what we mean when we say that freedom can mean different things for different people. Freedom is important because it helps people to express their creativity and thoughts better. It also makes them highly productive and overall gives them a better quality of living. For centuries, people have fought for freedom in different countries. We've already learned about Nelson Mandela and Aung San Suu Kyi. Nelson Mandela of South Africa spent 28 years in jail for the independence movement. And Aung San Suu Kyi also spent many years under house arrest for independence. It is because of the efforts of many such people that citizens of most countries are able to enjoy freedom today. Freedom mainly has two aspects, positive freedom and negative freedom. Positive freedom refers to those rights which do not cause any harm to others when they are enjoyed by the people. It means that freedom is granted, but there are some necessary constraints. Positive freedom is very essential for the individual's development. On the other hand, negative freedom shows the absence of any constraints. It means that there is freedom and there is no constraints. It can lead to big problems in society. And freedom, we've learned that freedom can be classified into personal, economic, political, civil, we can classify into many different classifications. To be free means to reduce these social constraints that limit our ability to choose. In a free society, we can pursue our interests with a minimum number of constraints. Our constitution gives us the right to take the decisions that influence the important matters of our life, but we will be responsible to the society for the consequences of these decisions. So in this way, we will be responsible for our decisions, and we can say that freedom makes people more responsible citizens by holding them accountable for their own decisions and the problems that they have to face due to those decisions. So freedom can make people more responsible and vigilant citizens.
Okay, thank you, Miss Grishma. It's a good one. Okay, thank you very much. Fine. Hope you people understood that entire topic what Grishma has presented here, right? There's no worries, no, there's no queries there. Everything is fantastic. Okay, and next turn it to Miss Ashish Benny and Amal Raj. Okay, next class, any of you. Okay, I will call you and you should present that. Okay, so these are the things basically we discussed in this chapter that's named freedom. Named freedom there. So we are moving forward. Negative and positive freedom we discussed already in the class here. So you know that what is the dignity in the society, freedom of expression. Okay, so what is freedom of expression? Tell me, what is freedom of expression? Here it is, freedom of expression by J.S. Mill. Okay, a political thinker and an activist in the 19th century Britain offered a passionate defense of freedom of expression, including freedom of thought and discussion. Okay, freedom of thought and discussion. In his book On Liberty, he offered 4 reasons why there should be freedom of expression even for those who espouses the idea that appear false or misleading today. So number of philosophers are there, number of ideas are there. Basically today we are able to know, able to conclude that their perceptions on freedom, they are false. But here John Stuart Mill, he gave a number of suggestions related with the freedom of expression. First, no idea is completely false. What appears to us as false has that element of truth. If we ban false ideas, we would lose that element of truth that they contain. So the first idea of Stuart Mill related with the expression is whatever may be the expression. Okay, sometimes the governments, sometimes the people, they will believe that all those ideas that provided by that particular individual is entirely false or entirely wrong. But Mill says here, don't consider like that. Okay, in the false idea also we are able to find some element of truth, truths that they contain. So this is related to the second point. Truth does not emerge by itself. Okay, truth does not emerge by itself. It is only thought a conflict of opposing views that truth emerge. So two opposing ideas will conflict to each other. From there the truth emerge or originate. Ideas that seem wrong today may have been very valuable in the emergence of what we consider right kind of ideas tomorrow. Okay, what we are believing as wrong today, maybe it will convert or it will turn to a perfect or good things tomorrow. Clear or not? Understand? Okay, the Galileo Galilei, Copernicus, they are the great astronomers, right? Basically, right? Mathematicians too, and they give a number of ideas related with the theory related with the solar system. Okay, most of the people, they believed in those period as they are believed that earth is flat. Okay, and they also believed that a geocentric theory, which means the other all planets and the sun revolving around the earth. That's called the geocentric theory. Okay, and these mathematicians, they told and they proved that it is not the earth the center of the universe, but it is the sun. They humiliated very badly. Clear or not? Understanding or not? Okay, so for that period, the ideas of Copernicus and Galileo Galilei is considered as false, but we know that it is true today, right? Yes or no? We know that it is true today. That's what Mill says, that each and everything what we are believing as false today may be converting into a good one tomorrow. Okay, or a real one tomorrow. Thirdly, this conflict of ideas is valuable not just in the past, but is for continuing values for all time. So he says that want to provide a freedom to speech for each and every individual, whatever it is, a false one or a real one or whatever it is, want to give that freedom for each and every one. Okay, because tomorrow we will come to know that today what we accepted as freedom, believed as false, maybe it will turn to a good one or a true one tomorrow. Finally, we cannot be sure that what we consider true or actually true. We don't know what is true actually. Okay, so we are seeing a number of science fiction movies there, right or not? Basically the Hollywood movies, science fiction movies. Okay, in those movies, most of the case we can see that America is attacked by the aliens. Okay, United States attacked by aliens, right or not? So we will decide, or we know that it's a science fiction movie, but tomorrow it will convert into a real story also. I mean, a real incident also happen like that. We don't know. Okay, so we are unable to say that it is entirely wrong, impossible to speak. Okay, that's what J.S. Mill idea. He told that want to provide freedom for each and every individual related with freedom of expression, whatever it is. Okay, each and every individual want to enjoy that freedom, the freedom of expression. All right, is that clear or not? So that doesn't mean that the government is providing us, so we know that it's a part of the fundamental right. Okay, so government is not providing us the entire freedom to speak anything against anyone in the society. It is not possible. Okay, that is not possible. That is a wrong concept. We are unable to speak ill about our neighbor, ill about our colleagues, or ill about our friends or family or relatives. Clear or not? So we are unable to, or we should not spread false news or false speeches, hate speeches against another religion or against other country. Should not do that. Clear or not? So that kind of thing should be what we can say take away, or should take away from the freedom of expression. We cannot do that. We should not do that. So as per John Stuart Mill, what is that? Wanted to provide freedom of expression for each and every individual. Okay, so we are able to find truth in false statements. So Galileo Galilei's ideas and Copernicus idea, they proved that. And they believed that Earth is the center of the universe. But Galileo Galilei is true today. Is that clear? Is that idea clear? So that's what freedom of expression related with John Stuart Mill, J.S. Mill, Mill there. So we know that there are 4 points are there. First point it is, no idea is completely false. No idea is completely false. We are able to find the elements of truth in each and every false statements. Clear or not? That's what Mill's the first theory. And the second theory is connected with the first statement. What is that? It is related to the second point. Truth does not emerge by itself. Okay, so we are able to find conflicts of different ideas, conflicts of different philosophical viewpoints. Finally, only the truth or the real thing will emerge out or come out. Clear or not? So discussions and debates are necessary. Okay, if it is false or truth, we are unable to judge that at that point of time, but afterwards we will come to know that what is good or what is bad. What is bad? That's what the second point related with the J.S. Mill's freedom of expression. J.S. Mill's freedom of expression. Clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The conflict of ideas is valuable Okay, we should not say that. Okay, we should not say that no debates required, no judgments required. We want that conflicts required. Then only it will lead to the clear way. It will show the clear way or the clear path. Conflicts of ideas are necessary in politics. Okay, we are unable to believe, or we should not believe the one-sided philosophy of any philosopher or any individual. We want to think related with the rationality and reason, not ration, rationality and reason. Is that clear? Okay, rationality and reason. Whatever it is, we want to analyze that. Okay, we want to observe that. First two things we want to apply related with each and every philosophy or each and every comments there. What is that? Reason and rationality. Okay, so truth always runs the risk of being reduced to the unthinking cliche. It is only when we expose it to opposed views that we can be sure that the ideas is truthworthy. So these conflicts of ideas, okay, so as per the Karl Marx one theory is there, you know. Okay, so the idea is basically considering as a thesis, okay, a theory, a thesis. Clear or not? So in debate, we are able to find out the drawbacks of that thesis or that theory. Okay, if we are debate or we are discuss, anyway, we are able to find out drawbacks of a thesis. It is considering as, what is that? Antithesis. Okay. Okay, so we find out the drawbacks and we discussing that this is not correct in that thesis. So we created one more thesis called be antithesis. Antithesis, right? Antithesis. Okay, for understanding, I am discussing that. Okay. Okay, thesis, that means an idea. So we find out the drawback of that idea. So that is considering as the antithesis. Finally, the drawbacks will clear in the thesis. Okay, so the antithesis and synthesis will join together. It's called to be synthesis. What is that? Synthesis in politics. Synthesis in politics. Okay, and what will happen there? A new thesis will form without or with reduced problems. Is that clear or not? Is that clear or not? So what is that? If you find the problem of one particular idea, this is not a physical thing, right or not? In a political sense, we are not discussing about a tangible good or a physical good. We are discussing about a human life basically, right or not? Is that clear? Okay. So what are the philosophy we are believing? So in that philosophy, we are able to find mistakes anyway. Anyway, we are able to find mistakes in that, right or not? So we are trying to solve that mistakes in that philosophy. What will happen there? A new philosophy will origin. New philosophy will origin. That's what thesis, antithesis, and both these two things will together, join together, and a new one will form. It's called to be synthesis. Synthesis. So that synthesis, the newly formed synthesis, is considering as the new thesis. New thesis. Understood something? Trouble, right? Yes. Understood or not? Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry. Okay. So tell me. Tell me. Understood or not? So is that hard or not? Tell me, Elvina. Please, is that the idea is clear or not? Simply speaking. So, what is that? If we find the mistakes in philosophy, we want to notice that. Clear or not? And we want to discuss. Okay. And the proponents of the philosophy, they will come to know that, oh, these many mistakes are there. We want to rectify these errors. Okay. So we are rectifying that. Clear or not? So by rectifying the errors in the first philosophy, what will happen there? A new philosophy will form. New philosophy will form. So that we will start follow. We will start following that new philosophy. That's all. That's all. Nothing more than that. Clear? So I use some terms to understand that only. Like what is that? Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and the new thesis. New thesis. Clear or not? Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, guys, time up. I am winding up now. We will meet in the next class, guys. Okay, thank you very much. Just to revise the things there. Okay, almost the chapter is finished there. Just to read and come for the next class. We will discuss the question answers in the next class. Okay, and we will continue, or we will move forward to the next chapter. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.